So we're here to make a video that I sort of teased a little bit in a previous segment. I call this the body rope. Actually, it's an old piece of rope I use for a lot of things. But one of the things I like to do with a young horse is to put a rope around their body and draw it reasonably tight, but have it set so it will release. If you want to see that done in a remedial way, our very first video, our introduction and a segment called A Filly with a Temper, you'll see me using that on a horse who was real quick to kick, to put it on her flank and say, kick your guts out. She did. She no longer does. She's a ranch horse, rope horse, does everything, but she needed to get past that. I do that in a preparatory way with these horses so that you don't have a big explosion, hopefully, the first time you saddle. So what I'll do, I have what I call a boat snap on here. If you can zoom a little bit there, that's a big snap that will accommodate this rope very easily. So you snap it on and you can make yourself a loop. And see how loosely it slides? That's exactly what you want. So I'm actually just going to pull it through. But you don't need to do that. That's why I prefer this to a lariat rope. Plus, it's got a big old knot on it. Not a nice braid, but a big old knot that I tied. It's kind of the half-witted bowline. But it weighs something, and so does the snap. And that helps your release. This will release very, very easily. Mike. So I'm just going to put that around his midsection. Just let it hang down. Now, some horses will kick and fuss. I have a feeling he's not gonna, but he surprised me more than once. So you carefully reach underneath there. Now, if you had one that was really tough, I used to take a coat hanger and catch my latigos and stuff, my cinches. Back when I was riding that type of horse and not preparing them, just sort of getting them saddled and getting on them. Well, I learned better than that, but at that time, that was a strategy. And if you have one that wants to kick you, you can reach through there and catch it with the end of a coat hanger, and they can kick that coat hanger and it'll never bleed. So I'm gonna get him, and I'm a little awkward at this, like a lot of things, but I'm gonna get him set up to where we just send him around us. Gonna adjust that up on his withers a little bit. And you can see how loose it is. And I'm going to draw it a little tighter. Make sure he's moving forward. And then I'm going to sort of bear down a bit. So right now, that's every bit as tight as a cinch would be. Every bit as tight as a cinch would be. But if I'll get him over on this other side, I'll release it. Watch what happens. See how much it gives? So when he's good, like suppose I said, can you lead by that rope? If he's leading by that rope, then I'll give him some slack. So we're going to put a little pressure on. Put a little pressure on, and ideally, maybe he'll start to come in just as he would the leg pressure. Can you move off that? Yeah, see how he moved off that? I give him a release. Can you move off that? I give him a release. So you're killing several birds here. Not that I want to kill birds, but this one little maneuver is doing several things. And I'll take it right back, and this is where you'll get a reaction, and you may as well do it. Get the reaction when you plan on it, not when you're out in the woods and you have what happened to me one time, and that is, we got some big, strong grapevines around here. I was going through some brush and got a piece of grapevine tangled around my horse's flank, and that got real interesting for a while. But see, he's really pretty good-natured about this. A lot of them would kick, buck, spurt forward. If anything, he's shutting down just a little. But that's the deal. Do it on both sides. Do it at a walk and a trot. Pull, release, and let's see if we can get him to just come along using that as a tow rope. See how loose the other rope is. You can see how worried he is about it. Now he would like to, I think he's actually trying to unhook it. Maybe I could teach him to undo the snap. He might like that. So that's a very simple thing I do that has made it less likely for the horse to blow apart when you first throw a saddle on him and cinch him up. I don't hold it against the horse if they want to buck a little bit, but I don't want to encourage it either. I want to give them a chance to think it through, and this simple little mechanism does that. Now, you can get into a wreck if you have a horse that doesn't like it. They can try to take off that direction, kick you in the head, and you better have your neurosurgeon on speed dial, because it ain't good. So you want to have your horse pretty good on the groundwork, and you want to have an idea what's going to happen. Now, I would still do it with that horse, but I would make sure that I had control of his head, and I wouldn't be anywhere near as casual as I was with this colt. Have not done this with him before, but I had a good feeling. Once a year, I'm right. This was out once a year. Probably going to make another video shortly. We'll see if I can be wrong in that one. Stick around and you'll probably see that. Thanks.